Welcome, everybody. Hey, how are you doing? Happy Friday to you. It's actually the Friday before Halloween, which is pretty cool. I can't believe it's already here, the big Halloween night. So I hope you're going to have a fun, exciting Halloween weekend and eat some candy, maybe hand some candy out. I don't know. I'll probably be handing out candy while eating candy. We'll see. But welcome, everybody. We've got a bunch of people already here in the room. Hey, Lee. Christy is here. Hey, Christy. We got Tracy. Hey, Tracy. Deborah. Jan. Hi, Jan. Donna is here. Hey, Donna. So we got a bunch of people, which is awesome. Thanks for joining us. Wow, tons of people already. Well, welcome. This is going to be kind of a fun demo night. And we're going to do two things. We're going to do a little bit of a Dutch pour tonight with some crazy Halloween colors, kind of some colors we've been using in the past for some of these demos. And also, I'm going to talk about the Pouring Studio membership because it's currently open for a very short time, for a few days. So if you're thinking about joining the Pouring Studio membership, or you couldn't quite make it into the founding member launch, well, you're in luck because the membership is currently open for up until Tuesday, I believe. And then we're going to close it up, and then we're going to jump into the Dutch Pour month, which is going to be amazing and fun. I have a ton of stuff planned. I'm very excited about the Dutch Pour month. So it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the membership tonight before we get into doing our demos, just for people that are brand new or don't know quite that much about the Pouring Studio membership yet. So I'll talk about that, so indulge me, and then we'll do some fun Dutch pour paintings. I think you're going to like them. So, but welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Michelle's here. Hey, Karen from Australia. How are you doing tonight, or in the morning? I know it's, you jump forward in time, so it's morning time over there in Tasmania. Jerry's here. Hey, Jerry. Janice. Well, thanks so much for joining me, everybody. Hey, Pat. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. So as you can see, I have a little banner down there at the bottom that's kind of scrolling, talking about the Pouring Studio membership is currently open. I thought I would open it for a few days just before we get into the Dutch pour, our next technique, because I've been getting some inquiries about when I was going to open up the membership again. Some people didn't quite make the founding member launch and were wondering when I would open up the membership again. And I know the Dutch pour is such a popular technique. I thought it'd be the perfect time to just open up again to new members for a few days. So if you're thinking about joining or want to join, that would be awesome. You're more than welcome. And I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. It is the link to go check out the Pouring Studio membership, the sign-up page. You can read some about it and see if it's something you might be interested in. So I'm talking about the Dutch pour a lot because every month in the Pouring Studio membership, we focus on one technique. So we kind of do a deep dive into that technique, do a lot of different pouring demos. I do demonstrations, like kind of very step-by-step on that technique, which is kind of the first thing we share. And with the Dutch pour especially, there's a lot to it. I'm going to be sharing two different recipes, mixing formulas than my other mixing formulas. And they work really well for me. They're pretty easy. One of them is mixed with Floetrol, and you can get a lot of cells. The other one does not use Floetrol, so you can really minimize the cells. And you can get some really beautiful paintings, Dutch pour paintings with very minimal cells or no cells. And you just get this beautiful flowy color, which I just love. I love both cells and no cells. I'm kind of I pretty much love it all. So, but I'll be sharing those two formulas. I have some new handouts that I've created for the Dutch pour. Along with, those two handouts, I have a PDF formula for kind of a mixing guide for each of those two formulas, the Dutch pour formulas. I'm also working on a Dutch pour coverage cheat sheet. So I have my other canvas coverage cheat sheet, which is perfect for flip cups and ring pours and things like that. How much paint you need to put in your cup to cover your different size canvases. Well, the Dutch pour is a little different because we need to flood on a base coat first before we do our add our other colors. But then our consistency of paint is much different. It's much thinner. So I'm working on compiling a new cheat sheet for just the Dutch pour itself. So you can get some kind of idea of how much base coat you need to pour onto your different size canvases, because it can be a little tricky. Sometimes you won't put enough paint on. Sometimes you'll put way too much paint on, and then it's blowing everywhere, which is just kind of a waste of paint. So I think this is going to be a very helpful cheat sheet, the new Dutch pour coverage sheet. And then a couple other secrets, which I'm not going to talk about right just yet. The members will find out about it soon enough. So, but that's kind of what we're going to be doing in November, the Dutch pour technique. And the first week we'll meet live several times a month. And I share different pieces of content in the membership. Plus, there's a private Facebook group you could join if you want to. Also, in the membership, there is a community section of the membership where you can, that's where all the content is housed. So you can review it anytime you wish. It's all recorded and stored there, along with all the PDF downloads and all the different pieces of content we cover. You'll have a little member profile in the community, and you can add some information about yourself if you wish. You can create posts if you want to and share images and pictures, or ask questions or comment on other people's posts, or just comment on the content that I put in there too. So there's a lot of different things we can do in the membership. And then, of course, we have a private Facebook community, which is pretty active. We got a lot of awesome members in there sharing their paintings, which I love, and asking questions. Now, if you don't like Facebook, you don't have to join that Facebook group. It's strictly optional. It's just if you would like to or not. There's nothing in the Facebook group that isn't in the other Pouring Studio membership. So we have our technique of the month. We have a painting night live, which I'll be doing painting demos, and I will share the colors I'm going to be using. So if you wish to paint along with me, that's awesome. You could also just watch. You could ask questions. We did one. It kind of went overboard. I kind of crammed way too much into that one painting night live. It was a really long one. So we'll try to cut it back to a more reasonable time, but it's going to be very fun. Also, we'll have a studio chat. And in the studio chat, I share different topics each month. Sometimes they will be directly related to our technique. With Dutch pour, it's probably going to be kind of related to the Dutch pour. We'll see. But I will talk about how to finish your paintings in there. We'll also talk about more technical things like composition or color theory or things like that. I'm going to also do one on how to create panels if you wish. I know some members really want to know how to make wood panels, kind of similar to the ones I make. So we're going to be covering a whole lot of stuff in the studio chat in upcoming months. Also, we'll have a Q&A, a monthly Q&A, where you can submit your questions that you have. And we just had one this previous Wednesday, and I covered all kinds of different topics. I talked about some composition things. I talked about some different color things, just all sorts of different topics. So you can submit your questions ahead of time, which gives me a little bit of time to prepare some answers, or if I have to do some demos or something like that. If it's a more complicated question, it helps a lot. Or you could ask questions live too. And again, all those things will be recorded and put in the membership. And with the Q&A, I also wrote down each question that I answered and gave kind of a time index, so you can jump ahead right to that question and watch it in the video if you want to, so you don't have to sit through the entire thing. You can jump around to just what interests you or what is relevant to you. So all of these different things, that we're going to be doing, the different techniques and the different types of content, they all fit into what I call an acrylic pouring success path. And I actually have one right here. And this is kind of the heart and soul of the membership, I would say. So the success path has 5 stages to it. There is stage 1, preparing to pour. If you're brand new and you've never poured before, this is kind of where you're going to be at in the stage 1. Stage 2 is pouring apprentice, which is you've probably tried some paintings, but you have a lot of questions. So in this stage, we really go over kind of a lot of the basics, and I have a detailed section on the paint mixing for flip cups and ring pours, things like that. And then in stage 2, we also cover kind of the core techniques, which would be the flip cup and the ring pour. And there's another one I'm missing, the direct pour. Stage 3 is pouring pro, and now we're getting into a little more advanced kinds of techniques. What do I have down there? I have like the open cup, string pulls, swipes, floating cup, waterfall pours, and we'll be jumping ahead into stage 4 with the Dutch pour. Stage 4 is pouring artist, so we're kind of leaping forward a little bit, and we'll be kind of jumping forward and backward in the success path as we progress through the membership. But if you're brand new, I would encourage you to just jump in and try it out. I'm going to be showing you kind of very step-by-step instructions and formulas and things to make it as easy as possible for you to get success with these different techniques. So it's a very hands-on membership. I'm always answering questions and pretty available, I would say. And then stage 5 is pouring pro, and that is when you've really have quite a bit of experience pouring, and you're maybe trying to look towards creating more professional types of art on maybe more professional surfaces, using maybe more professional ingredients, things like that, maybe trying to transition into selling your artwork. So there is a lot we'll be covering in the success path, and it's all geared and designed just to get you up to speed as quickly as possible and making progress, having a lot of fun, and making better paintings as soon as possible, really, and kind of demystifying the whole thing. So that is kind of an overview, kind of a brief one, of everything we'll be doing in the Pouring Studio membership. We also have some other fun things like an art show every month. That'll be coming up next week, I think. I can't remember. I think November 8th, which is the following Monday. So people are submitting their paintings that they've done using doing straight pours or with the fall colors or Halloween colors, kind of the things we've been working on this last month. And so we'll get together and I'll draw some winners and I'll give them some prizes. It's going to be really fun. And everyone's drawn randomly, so it's not like a competition on who's better or worse, something like that. So don't worry about if you're brand new. Everyone is welcome to submit their paintings, and we'll win some fun prizes, hopefully. So things like paint or my favorite mixing sticks or maybe some pouring mediums or who knows, maybe a blow dryer. It's the Dutch pour month, so we'll see. But it's going to be very fun. So if you join right away in the membership, you could maybe squeak into that art show. I'm just saying. So, but give that some thought. But it's going to be a very fun month in the Pouring Studio. So that's just a really quick overview, hopefully, for the new people that are joining us tonight and don't know much about the membership. So I will quit talking and let's talk about some Dutch pour stuff now. And then I'll maybe talk about the Pouring Studio a little bit at the end. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them as we progress here. So let's go into Dutch pour stuff now. So I'm going to move my little notes aside. And I've got my little shields set up. Need to get my keyboard out of here, though. So just going to arrange some stuff here. So tonight I thought we would I've got a couple different canvases set up. I've got 2 little 8x8s that I'll do kind of more a traditional Dutch pour. And then I've got an 11x14, which I can do a little bit larger format, but I'm using a very simple color scheme tonight. I've got black, which is going to be the base coat. So I've got a bunch of black here, and I'll switch to the top camera so you can see in a second. I've got gold, my favorite, and then I've got my two favorite Halloween colors, which I've discovered this last month, which is my fluorescent magenta, which I love, and my crazy lime green. And these are wild colors, and they look pretty cool together because I've done some tests with them, and I really like the way they look. So this should be some fun, exciting, crazy Halloween colors. I won't be doing Halloween colors, I don't think, till next year. So I think it's nice to get in a nice, fun last Halloween type of pour. So I'm going to just check the comments. I've been blabbering on and on to see if there's just any questions here before we get into doing some painting. And we got some more people joining us. So, hey, Janice, how are you doing? We've got, all righty. We've got, I think Lynn is here. Hey, Lynn. And McLovin has joined us. Hey, McLovin. Nice to see you. Donna. Awesome. So Novala is here. That's fantastic. Hey, Novala. All right. Looks like some people might have had a little issue with the Facebook thing. Hopefully that is all worked out. And Lee is asking, Brad, can you tell us how to do a cloud pour? I sure can. We're probably going to be covering that one up in the membership coming up maybe next month or the month after. Cloud pour is a fun one, but we will definitely be covering that one. I love that technique. And all right, Chris is here. Hey, Chris. All right, I don't see. Oh, Janice is asking, do we submit our paintings to Facebook for a competition? You can share your painting if you're a member. Of course, you can share your painting in the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, which is the Pouring Studio Facebook group, or you could share it in the membership, in the community. You could create a post and share your painting there. There is a topic called Art Show where you can share your artwork. So either one of those two places, I will find it. And some people are sharing it in the other Facebook group, the Acrylic Pouring Club, which is kind of the bigger group, not the members only group, but I'm finding them there too. So I'm going to send out a list of everyone that I have registered in the art show before I draw the names, just to make sure I've gotten everyone. So you can check that and see if your name's on it. If not, let me know and I will add your name. So people are posting in a lot of different spots, so I'm trying to gather them all in one place. So yeah, Janice, so you could put it in the Pouring Studio Facebook group would be the perfect place. And there's a hashtag that goes along with it, which is October Art Show. Hashtag October Art Show, all one word. So that makes it easier for me to find your posts and your paintings. So, and Lee is sad. Don't worry, Lee. You don't do Facebook. That's no problem at all. You don't have to be in Facebook. It's just another place where you could go, but everything else is in the community. So no problem at all if you're not a Facebook person. All right. Hey, Sonia. Sonia is here. Okay. And Barbara is here. Awesome. Hey, Barbara. Okay. And all right. And I don't see any other questions at the moment. So let me switch the camera and we'll get into doing some Dutch pour stuff. All right. So let me go over here. I'm going to flip the camera over. And I have one of my little 8x8s. So here are the colors we'll be using this evening. Just a very simple 3 colors. And then black, of course. I have my black right here. I'm going to get some gloves. And I'm going to get my dryer. So I'm going to be using my little dryer on these two tonight, just because it's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier for smaller size canvases. So put my gloves on. And I just saw this. Hey, Lori, thanks so much for joining. That's awesome. We have a new member with us. That's so fantastic. Thanks, Lori. I am excited that you've joined us. So welcome to the Pouring Studio. That is fantastic. Okay. And awesome. And Barbara says she needs help with the Dutch pours. No problem. We are going to solve the Dutch pour problems in November. And by the way, this probably isn't the only time we're going to be working on the Dutch pour. I mean, this is a complicated technique, and you can do so many different things with it. So I don't think we could cover absolutely everything in 1 month. So, think of this as like I don't want to say it's an intro to the Dutch pour, because we're going to be doing a lot of a little more advanced things, but Dutch pour phase 1 maybe. And then, as we go along and cover more techniques and things, we might come back to the Dutch pour and go into like Dutch pour phase 2. So for some of these techniques, you just can't get everything you need to know in like 1 month or even a couple months probably. But so we'll be revisiting some of these techniques again and again, especially kind of the more popular ones, I would say. And all right. So I'm going to move this stuff aside for a minute, the colors. Oh, and by the way, let me do this. So yeah, this is a little 8x8. It's like a tiny little one. I'm not a really huge, I don't really use square format canvases all that much, but I kind of like these small 8x8 ones. I don't know why. I like these better than larger square canvases for some reason, but that's just quirky, I guess. I don't know. I'm more of a rectangular guy, but I have these little paper cups. These are just the cheap bathroom cups. I like to put some of my paint in here to apply it to the canvas. It's just a lot easier because you can pinch the lid here and then create a very sharp corner to pour out of. It's much easier to get like a sharp, cleaner line. If you pour out of these big cups, I love these big cups, but it's hard to regulate a smaller stream of paint coming out of them. So I like to use these little bath cups to put some of my paint in. There we go. Okay, so I got my paint ready to go. I got to push these aside just so I don't blow them over. So I've got that. Let me turn. No, that's okay. I think that's okay. So now I've got my black here. So I'm going to just pour on some black. I'm just eyeballing this right now. So, and then I'm going to blow it out. Now with my little tiny dryer, I like to use this on low most of the time. It's got a little cool button right here. And if you press the cool button, it kind of bypasses the heat. So it just shoots out like the regular air, which I like. I don't like to have the really hot air coming out. But I use this, it has a high and a low. Low, I think, works usually better for me, especially on smaller size canvases. So I'm going to turn it on. If it's like crazy loud for you, maybe you can turn down the sound or let me know and I'll just mute my mic while I'm blowing out the paint. So here we go. I'm going to give it a shot and let me know if it's too loud. Okay. Okay, so I don't see anyone screaming like, oh my God, it's so loud. So, okay, that's good. So that it's not a super loud little dryer, which I like. So now we've got the covered. It was a nice amount of paint, I think. So, and okay, I'm just looking at a question here. I'll probably go back to answer it. Oh, here we go. Okay, Mrs. Dee Dee, I hope I'm saying that right. Does it matter what kind of blow dryer? Not really. I mean, I like this small dryer because it's a little less powerful, and I would really recommend if you have a dryer, if you can get one with a one of the what's it called? Shoot, with these attachments on it that creates like this small opening. Oh my gosh, I totally blanked on the name of that. A concentrator, that's what it's called. So a little concentrator attachment. This helps you kind of direct the paint a little better. But if you have any kind of dryer, you could give it a try. I've got a few different ones that I use. I really like this one though, for smaller paintings. And this is a great one also if you're just starting out and need to buy a dryer. I'd recommend getting this one just because it's very easy to use and less powerful than the big ones. The big ones can kind of get carried away and blow a lot of paint all over the place. So this is a good one though. I'll talk about that in maybe in a minute after we do a painting or something. All right, so now I'm going to make this kind of traditional, like a Rinske Doana Dutch pour, kind of the way she normally does it. She's kind of the queen of the Dutch pours. I mean, she coined the phrase Dutch pour, but I knew this back when it was called like air swipes, or like because you're using air or hair dryer blowout, things like that. So there's a lot of different names, but Dutch pour is kind of the most popular name now that everyone recognizes with this technique. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make one of these paintings. I'm going to make primarily the fluorescent magenta, and then the other one I'm going to make primarily the green, my crazy lime green. So this one, let's do the magenta one first. So all that means is I'm going to use more magenta than green. So I'm going to use have a kind of a blob of magenta there. I'm going to do a little smaller blob of green there. I'm going to put some gold on top, kind of like that. And then I'm going to just put some more magenta on top. And a little more green on top. And then maybe a little more gold. There we go. So that's it. And now I'm going to, I need a cup for my black. Let me pour some black in here. I'm going to do the whole blowover thing. So I'm just going to put a little black around these, kind of like that. And now I'm going to blow the paint over, and then I'll stop and maybe take a look at it and kind of talk about what I'm thinking about doing. So again, I'm low with my little blow dryer. I'm going to just blow the black over, kind of like that. Cool. So basically blowing the black kind of over the top of the paints kind of incorporates the paints a little bit more in the base coat. So when you blow it out, it's kind of, you get some black things and cells happening. So you don't have to absolutely do that every time with the blow over. And sometimes you blow it all the way over. This is kind of a partial, but either way. So now I'm going to, kind of blow out the magenta and then the green. So I want more magenta than green. So because this is going to be the dominant color, the magenta, with the green being more of an accent color. So let's see what happens. I'm going to, now with puddles like this, you can kind of blow in any direction you want to. I've developed kind of a series of 5 different techniques, like blowing techniques with different types of Dutch pour. So this is like number 1, which is kind of the puddle, and then you can blow in kind of any direction you want. So let's blow it out and see what happens. Here we go. Okay, so I kind of screwed that up. I like the magenta part, but then I blew the magenta over the green, which was not a smart thing to do. And I knew it as soon as I did it. So if you do that, one cool thing about the Dutch pour, which you can't really do with a lot of other pours, we could try to do it again. So I'm going to just scrape this off, kind of carefully. Let's try doing the green part again. So I'm going to just put some more paint on there. And you could spread this out with the palette knife if you wanted to, or if you're very confident with your blowing skills, you could blow it out again. I'll blow it out. Right here, I've got a little spot I gotta connect. There we go. All right, so let's just try it again. So I'm gonna do a little bit of green, a little bit of gold, a little more green, maybe a touch of gold. Okay, and I'm gonna just blow it over from this side, not that side. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so it would have been better probably if you can do it the first time, but it's not too bad. Now, we've got this kind of thick puddle here of black. If I go in with the dryer, it's gonna be kind of extreme, but you could always go in there with a straw if you wanted to, and you'd have a little more control. So let me grab one. I've got a bunch of straws. Just like a regular straw will work. So let's see what we can do. And you can do a little tilting if you want to. I don't want to tilt a ton because you can kind of distort cells and things. I really like this, what's happening there. But you could tilt a little bit. I'll tilt it back. So that's okay. I kind of like that. It's kind of this creepy green area. I was just trying to kind of blend some of the magenta in with the green to get them kind of working better together compositionally, but that's okay. I'm not going to screw with it too much more, I don't think. We'll go to the next one. But I really like what's happening down here. And you could always, if you didn't like this, you could always scrape this off again and try it again if you wanted to. That's kind of one of the cool things with this technique is you have a little more flexibility of making it look the way you want it to. With flip cups or ring pours, you're very limited with how much you can really change and mess around with the painting. So, but I kind of like this one. It's kind of cool. Now the black, like these little corners, you can just kind of touch them to get, if you want to cover them, like you can grab some paint with your finger and you can kind of bring the paint right down the side of the canvas if you want to. It's probably hard for you to see what I'm doing there, but there we go. So there's one done. It's kind of it's like an 80-20. 80% of it I like, 20%, not the greatest. But let's go on to a next one and try again. So before I do that, I'll check and see if there's any questions. Quick here. Okay. Okay. So I'm just checking to see if there are any. Donna is asking, did you gesso this first, or do you think it matters with all that paint for base? No, I didn't gesso these canvases. These are just right out of the packaging. I didn't even put tape on. I just put some push pins on the back. That's another kind of nice thing about the Dutch pour is you're not doing a ton of manipulating of the canvas. So you don't have to prep it quite as much if you don't want to. So these are just straight out of the package. I rarely gesso the canvases, but yeah, these are just straight out of the box. So, and V-Man is asking, have you ever made any prints of your paintings? And she doesn't think I'm glad the dryer is not too loud. I have made a few prints of my paintings. It can get very kind of complicated and technical with the prints. The biggest problem is getting a really good image of your painting. That can be the most challenging part. So you either have to be a really good photographer or take it to a really good photographer, or have a very good scanner or a scanner capable of handling like a large painting, like a large format scanner. So it can get very kind of technical, but we could talk about that in the membership too. That's very much a pouring pro stage 5 type of a question though. But we could talk about that, Barbara, for sure. And Karen is asking, is your base a bit thicker for this technique? Actually, Karen, all my paints are very thin for the Dutch pour technique. That's how you are able to blow it around with the dryer. So my paints for this technique are much thinner than for the straight pour or the flip cup or the ring pour, things like that. So hope that helps. Barbara's worried, or Jerry's worried about asking questions. You can ask as many questions as you want, Jerry. Go right ahead. And concentrator, thank you, Barbara, for that. Awesome. Okay. So I am just checking if there are any other. Hey, Judy is here. Hey, Judy. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for the great comments, everyone. Okay. So I'm just checking here. All right. Okay, I don't see any. Let's see. There's a Novala has a question. Novala is asking, when you paint over a used canvas, do you use a base paint to help smooth it out? It depends on the technique you're doing. Like, let's say this painting is dried. Let me move it back here. So let's say this painting is dried, the little 8x8 I just did, and I wanted to do another Dutch pour on top of it. Well, I wouldn't like prep this in any way, aside from just letting it dry thoroughly. But then I just probably dump my paint right on top, blow it out, and go right into the Dutch pour. So, and I'd probably do that with most paintings. So all you really have to do with a painting like that you want to paint over is like if it's like a ring pour or flip cup, you don't even need a base coat. You could just go right on top of the old painting. The only caveat with that would be if there's silicone, if you use silicone in there, like for a swipe or for your flip cup, then you'd probably want to clean that silicone off before you did another pour. Otherwise, that silicone might start to pop up through the new paint that you're putting on top. So I hope that answers your question, Novala. That's a good one. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment, so let's do another painting. Let me push this one over here so hopefully it doesn't get all splattered with paint. But I'll talk about, really quickly, I'll talk about the angles I'm using for the dryer. So let me put on some black first. And so I'm going to hold the dryer kind of this way. Let's see. Let me move this in the camera a little more. So when I blow out the base coat, you really just want to spread that out kind of as fast and evenly as possible. And normally I just hold my dryer straight up and down. And straight up and down, it tends to just move the paint. It kind of ripples over, but it doesn't spatter off of the canvas. And you wouldn't want to do this when you're blowing the paint out, but it works great for blowing out the base coat. So let's blow this out and get into the next painting. And I like to go kind of back and forth, forward and back. So I need to add a little bit more paint. I didn't quite have enough on there. So that's why that new sheet is going to be handy. So let's finish up here. Okay, that's pretty good. We have some corners that are kind of not showing, but you can kind of touch those if you wanted to. I still needed just a tad bit more paint. But I hate wasting the paint and putting on a ton of base coat and then having it all just fall off the sides. So I like to hit it as close as possible to just the right amount. All right, so now for this one, I'm going to use primarily green. I want the green to be the more dominant color. So I'll probably do something similar. Just have now you could do let's try something different with this one. Instead of doing the puddles, we did that already. Let's try something new. And so I'll do some Now, the other way you could do it is some lines, and this is very popular. Just any kind of a weird line. And I'll put some gold that way. I don't know why I did that, but we're trying stuff out. Another gold or green. Now, that's probably all I'm going to do with that. You don't need a ton of paint to blow out. And actually, that's probably a little more than I needed. Now, with the magenta, I'll do just a small puddle. So you could kind of mix things up and do, this is kind of a combination of techniques in a way. So just a little puddle just like that. And we got some line stuff here happening here. I'm going to put a little around here and then a little around here, and maybe a little around there. We'll see. So I'll blow over this one and I'll blow this one, and then we'll blow it out and see what happens. So let's see what. Okay, so I blew over that. Now I'm going to maybe blow out the magenta first because it's smaller. Maybe I should have done that with the green on the previous one. And then that will kind of maybe let me know what I want to do with the green. So, and let's see here. All right, so let's blow this out. I'm going to blow backwards and then this way. Okay, well, we got more magenta and a little less green on this one, but I kind of liked what that magenta was doing. But all right, so I might go in there again and try blowing this a little bit more. We've got a lot of black right here. I would like to kind of blow and see if we could get some cells in there, which should be cool. But okay, so let's try it one more time. I kind of like some things, but let's see if we could improve it a little bit. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't make it any better, but so this is kind of one that's kind of went reverse from the last one. I screwed up the small one. This one I got the magenta again worked good, but the green didn't work good. So, what am I going to do with that one? So now one thing we could try is instead of scraping off, we could just try adding some more. let's try that. So they don't always work out, perfectly the way you like them to. Let's see, I need my green. Let's see what we could do to improve this. Okay, so my idea here now is I'm going to blow the black over this way and then blow it kind of all over in this direction and maybe bring a little of the magenta into the green as we go. Let's see what happens. Well, I kind of like that one. We got some interesting cool cells here. Kind of got this kind of green wave happening. You still got a kind of this line of black, but I kind of dig that one. So I kind of like, this is a wispier section up here, and this has more cells down here. So I think we improved it a little bit. It's not the greatest painting ever, but I kind of like it. So I'm going to move this one off to the side and say, I'll leave that there for a second. And then let's see, let me check. Oh, I'll pull it back in here and I'll check. I'll check the questions and you can just have a look at that thing for a little bit. Okay. And then Joey was saying blow towards each other, and yes, I could have done that. With the red and the green, though, if you get these really tight together, or blow them into each other, red and green, they're going to make some browns happening because they are complementary, but complementary colors. But the next painting, I have kind of a plan, so we will definitely blow them into each other a little bit more, I think. Let's see here. So I'm just checking to see if there's any questions. Let's see. And Barbara is mentioning the artist Brad talked about coining the term Dutch pour only uses high quality paint and water, no Floetrol. That's correct. Rinske uses the Amsterdam brand of paint and water by themselves, and that's completely fine to do. Do I have it? I don't have any Amsterdam within arm's reach of me, or maybe I do. Here we go. So Rinske uses this brand of paint, which is Amsterdam. You could also use Liquitex as well. They're very similar as far as quality goes. But she just uses the paint and the water, which is totally fine to do. But the only issue with that I found is you're using a lot of paint then to create your mixtures. When you add Floetrol or use Floetrol, you're using Floetrol is basically an extender, which means you can use less paint, add some Floetrol, and you still get the same like volume or quantity of paint. So that's why a lot of people use different pouring mediums for different purposes, or different mediums in general for different purposes. is so they don't have to use so much paint. They can add something extra that's a little more affordable or cheaper and still get a large quantity of color. So, but either way is totally fine. Rinske, I mean, she makes some amazing paintings. So she knows what she's doing. But this is just another formula, another way of doing it. And then aside, you can leave out the Floetrol altogether and use something else, which I'll be talking about in the membership next week when we get into the membership Dutch pour stuff. So, and then Donna is asking, why do you blow the black over the colors? That's typically known as a blow over, and that can help create some of these cells that we had here. In the next painting, I'll show you part of it. I'll do a blow over, part of it I will leave without doing the blow over. You get some little different results, but you don't have to do either one. You could do the blow over, or you could not do the blow over. It's really up to you, depending on what you're looking for. So I'll demonstrate both of them in the next painting. It's a little bit larger, so we can do a little bit more with that one. But doing the blow over helps create some of the cool cells and the lacing. And then Navala is saying, I believe the base coat is rather thick, but the colors to blow are quite thin. Rinske only uses water to thin the colors. I think she uses, yes. So yeah, kind of similar. These paints, like the black I have, and all of these colors, they're all the same consistency. The gold, the black, the green, the magenta, all these colors are the same consistency. And they're all quite thin. So these are all fairly thin colors. And we'll get into the formulas next week and all that stuff. Okay. So I'm just checking here and seeing if there's any other questions right now. I love this. I was about to say stop and he did. That doesn't happen very often, but I'm happy it happened that time. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see here. And oh, thank you so much, Gail. Gail Bernstein is here. That's so cool. Gail's awesome. I love her painting. She's fantastic. She is an excellent, excellent artist. All right. And this is Lynn. Lynn is saying flooding the canvas helps move the paint around. Absolutely, Lynn. That is right. And for me, Happy here is asking, some cells are big and some are small. The size of the cells it depends on your formula, your paint mixtures, the colors you're using, because I'm using gold and metallics tend to create some larger cells. And the other ingredient is luck. And don't underestimate the luck. That also plays a part. So, and oh, you're welcome, Gail. Yeah, Gail is wonderful. I love her paintings. Go check her out because she's got a great Facebook page and she's also got a great YouTube channel. And I love her color sense. She uses a lot of kind of neutralized colors, earthy tones. So I really love Gail's work. She's really great. And Lynn is asking, will you torch it? And I normally don't torch any of this stuff, but let's try it and just see what happens. So let me grab my torch. Here we go. See, now one thing I don't do the same as Rinske. I don't torch after I blow out the paint. And but I'm torching, not a whole lot's happening. Normally, I only do the torching to pop air bubbles. Rinske torches the heck out of her paintings, and she gets a lot of tiny air cells and lacing and things. But see, to me, she's not generating cells so much as she's kind of scorching her paint. And I don't really like that look. So I generally don't torch the paint afterwards. You can try it though. Of course, she's also using, it's 90% paint. So it acts a little bit differently than this paint here. But normally I don't do torching, except for popping air bubbles maybe in the base coat. Okay, so I'm going to move that one out of the way. And I am totally a rebel. I am the pouring rebel. So thanks. Thanks, Barbara. All right. So here we go. I've got a larger, this is an 11 by 14. I might have to zoom out a little bit, but I've prepped this one with some tape on the back, just regular masking tape, and also push pins. I just use regular push pins for like Dutch pours because you're not doing a lot of tilting and stretching. So I'm going to set that down. And let me zoom out just a hair. Okay, there we go. I'm going to turn this off too. Where is the banner? Turn that off. All right, so we have this is an 11 by 14. So it's not a huge canvas, but it's quite a bit bigger than our previous little 8 by 8s, which I'm scooching away. I'm going to move this one over in the other corner here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just put the base coat on first, and then I'll talk to you about what we're going to try in this one. So let me dump on some paint. That looks pretty good. And let me blow this out. Now I'm going to turn it on. I'll turn it on high, and you can hear what the high is like, and how much quicker you can blow out the base coat with the high setting. So that went a little faster. And I know it was louder too. So sorry about that if I hurt your ears. Now here I will torch because we've got a lot of air bubbles in our base coat. So I'll torch these and maybe pop a lot of those. There we go. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to just tilt this a little bit. We've kind of got quite a bit of paint in the center. All right, and I think I see something floating around in there. Here we go, a little gremlin in the paint. So it's always nice to have a tweezers handy. And okay, let's see. Oh, Barbara is asking, let me show you this. So what is the thing wrapped around the top of the handle? This right here, I'll show you this. This is a zip tie, just a zip tie, and it's holding down. If you can see this, there's a little button there. That's the cool button, where you can, if you press this button, it'll shoot cool air out of the dryer instead of the hot air. But you have to hold this down to make it work. So I just zip tied it. So I depress the button all the time because I always want cool air or coolish air blowing out of the dryer. It depends on the dryer you have. Some dryers have that cool button, some don't. But some dryers, like my large one, I'll show you my large one. And let me bring this over here. So my large dryer, the big one, has a cool button, but it also has a cool setting. So it has a cool, warm, and then hot setting. I just keep it on cool all the time. And this also has a low and a high speed. And I usually only use the low speed for the big dryer. And it also has a larger diffuser, or a large concentrator, larger concentrator. And it comes with an even bigger concentrator. Let me show you that one. So it comes with a kind of a medium-sized one and then a larger one. So this is kind of a, I love this dryer. It's great for larger paintings. It's got a lot of power, but it can be a little tricky to learn how to use this one and control the paint. This one here is a lot easier to control the paint with. So this is the one I recommend if you're just starting out with the Dutch pour. So that's a great question though, Barbara. Oh, okay. And let's see here. Okay, so let's see, what kind of blow dryer? This one is it's called a Jinri. It's Jinri, Jinri, and this is like a travel blow dryer or something. I have this one, it's on my Amazon page. If you want to check it out, the exact one I have. This is about $16, so it's relatively inexpensive. My other big one is about $30-something. So this one's more affordable, but this is a great one. So I'll put the link to my Amazon page in there a little later, and you can check it out if you wish to. That's a good question. All right, so let's talk about this one now. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to create some bands of color across the canvas, kind of in maybe an arc or some kind of a curvy line or something. And I want one half to be mostly the magenta, one half to be mostly the greens down here. But I also might have this mostly magenta at the top, and then maybe a little green here, and then vice versa. So I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit. And one of the colors I'll do a blow over, the other one I will not, and we'll just see what that looks like. So this will be kind of a lot of different things happening in this painting. I'm going to add a little more paint to my cups. So we'll see here. I have a little more gold. And I'll put a little more in my black cup. All right. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put magenta. I'm going to blow magenta that way, and then the green this way, I think. So let me put down like a line of magenta, and then I'm going to put a line of, oops, I already messed up. A line of green this way. And maybe I can fix that. I already messed up. So I'm going to maybe scoop this green out. And let's see, I'll put a little black in there. And then I'm going to put just a little magenta down there. And then same up here, I'll put a little green maybe up here. Something like that. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying some stuff out. Then gold over the whole thing. And then maybe just a tiny bit more green over the gold. And what that does is kind of mixes the gold and the green together. If you kind of layer it like that. Okay. So now I'm going to put some black on this at the top, and I'm going to blow the black over the magenta, this top line. And then the bottom line here, I'm going to not blow it over, but I am going to put a little black down there just so I have a little more paint to kind of blow into, but I'm not going to blow it over the line. So we'll see the difference between the two, like a blowover and then not a blowover, just blowing the paint into the base coat basically. So, and then I'm going to, this is another one of my techniques. I'll blow some of this at a diagonal and some of it straight up. So, but first the blowover, first the blowover on the low speed. So I'm liking that. That's kind of cool. It's kind of very flamey, and we got the kind of the green and the magenta kind of mixing a little bit. We got some cool cells happening. So I like that top half. Let's work on the bottom half now. And again, I'm not going to do the blowover, just blowing straight into the base coat. So let's see what happens down there. Whoops. Again, I want to work on low speed. All right, so we have, they look very similar, the blowover one and versus the non-blowover one. But we've got some cool cells happening in both of them. So I'm pretty happy with this, with the way it's looking right now. I don't want to do too much more to it with the blow dryer. You could go in and manipulate some things with straws, or blowing just with your mouth, blowing open some areas. Let me try doing a little with the straw. Where did my straw go? Oh, here we go. So let's see. Let's see if I could, right here, I like this line, this sharp line, but maybe I could blow this open a little bit to create a little more interest than that completely sharp line all the way around. So I'll just turn the canvas. Cool. So I kind of open that up and created a little more feathery look. When you're using a straw, it helps to kind of give it a little like little puffs, to kind of like pulsating puffs of air, work to move the paint kind of really well, instead of like a one big blow out of the straw. Can kind of blow the paint down into the canvas. So that takes a little bit of like practice, just to kind of blow the paint around with the straw a little bit, but it's hard to describe how to do that, but you'll learn that quickly. Right here, I'm going to try to I have, again, a really sharp line with the magenta. I want to just maybe open that up a tiny bit. And so we have a little more variation. Let's see what happens. Now, I don't want to screw up these cells, so I'm going to try to gently blow them back the other direction. So we kind of changed that a little bit. It didn't really like blow open the way I was hoping. You could maybe try to change the angle of your straw. So if you blow more straight down, you can kind of open up those sharp lines a little bit. So it's kind of, these are all kind of fussy little detail things. Right over here, we've got a cool shape, but it's all a very sharp line all the way around. So let's see if we could open that up a little bit and add just a little bit of interest right here. Mm-hmm. Oops. Okay, so I opened that up a little bit and added a little bit of more interest. And I'm sure you got to, but I like that a little more. It's just a little more variety. So, different sharpnesses of line. Those are different edges. So we've got a variety of like these soft edges, hard edges. So this is kind of just a fun kind of Halloween-y painting. So I am pretty happy with that one. So I'm going to call that one good. And you could mess around with this for a long time, just tweaking different things. You could use skewers to kind of draw interesting lines or create some interesting like swirly effects. Maybe I'll try one. Here is just a wood skewer, but if you pick something here, and this can look very contrived if you do it too much, but let's pick an area here. This is kind of a twisty, curvy area, but you could add some kind of some swirls in there, things like that. Let me try one more. I'll try one right down here. So those are very subtle little details. It might be hard to see on camera. You could also use a larger tool to kind of put some of those in there. So you could really play around for a long time, changing and tweaking with your Dutch pours and things. They're very, very fun. And there's, limitless possibilities really with kind of how to do them. And we'll be talking about kind of split Dutch pours. We have, different colored base coats. So like two base coats, working them into each other. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the Dutch pour. But I kind of like this one. So we finally got a cool looking green side to work. So the green is really cool. And we've got green kind of working into the magenta. And then up here, green kind of working into the magenta that way. So I'm pretty happy with that one. All right, so let me check and see if there are any other questions. And I see one right here. Carla is asking, how close are you holding that dryer? And I know it's difficult to see from the top view camera, but I'm actually varying the height a little bit. So it's about, I'd say 4 inches or so, 4 or 5 inches. But if you go a little closer to the canvas, you'll blow paint a little faster. You pull it back, you'll blow the paint a little slower. You'll get a kind of a good feel for the distance just when you're moving the paint around. So we'll be doing some like practicing, just some blowing, painting practice. So all we'll be focusing on is, in the membership, maybe during painting night, is one of the paintings will be just be practicing the blower and doing some specific things and just controlling the hairdryer and the distances and the angles and stuff like that. So thanks for the great comments, everyone. I see some awesome comments. Let's see here. Any other questions? Let me flip back to the other camera. Hello again. So I'm just going to check for any other questions here. And let's see. Joey says, never like to hear oops while painting. Well, you hear that a lot when I'm painting. Oops. Oh my gosh. There are a lot of oopses in paintings, especially when you're doing pour paintings. That's funny. Okay, let's see what we got. So we got some. Okay, any other questions? So now is the time, if you have any other questions about what we just did, now would be the time to ask them. And oh my gosh. So Joey is also saying he uses words stronger than oops. So yeah, I will avoid those words. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so Lynn is saying Dutch pour takes a lot of practice. It does take a little bit of practice to kind of get used to the dryer and moving the paint around. But I'll give you some things to do, some moves, some painting moves with the dryer that'll make it your learning curve a little shorter. So I think you'll find that very helpful, especially if you get a smaller dryer, something like this, that will also help a lot. If you're using a big, powerful dryer, it will take a little longer because it's just a little more touchy. Everything happens faster with a more powerful dryer. With the smaller one, things slow down a little bit, which is very helpful. So, and Karen is asking, will we go through the right color choices? Absolutely. Color is a big part of what we do in the membership. So, and then Karen also mentioned, so we can avoid mud, what works best and avoid mud. Absolutely. Color theory is a really big part of what we're going to be working on in the membership. So every month I'll have a color theme, which is kind of like a group or an idea of colors that we'll practice or work on. And I'm not quite sure. I have a couple different ideas what I'm going to work on or what we'll work on in the Dutch pour month as far as color themes go. But one great thing about the Dutch pour, again, is since we are adding paint to our canvas and then blowing the paint around, we're not layering a cup with the Dutch pour. So we are able to get a little more sophisticated color palettes because we don't have to worry so much about mud, because we can kind of control the blending of colors a lot more with the Dutch pour than, say, the flip cup or the ring pour. So that is another huge advantage to this particular technique, is our colors can expand tremendously. So now we can use more complementary colors, like the one we just did now. That's a complementary color palette, green and red. And we didn't get really any mud with this one because we really limited the amount of blending that we're doing. So now you can obviously get lots of blending if you're using colors like in the puddle method and pouring them right on top of each other. Those will blend like crazy, but there are ways to kind of sidestep that problem, and we'll be discussing a lot of that. So we'll probably be working with a little more complex color theme in the Dutch pour month. So, but that's a great question, Karen. And yes, we'll discuss that a lot. So yes. All right. And let's see. And Lynn is also saying the dryer is like a paintbrush. Very much so, Lynn. It's like a giant airbrush, basically, is what it is. And yeah, it's a paintbrush. So we're painting with air, kind of in that sense. So we're moving the paint around the canvas in an unconventional way. But we have a little more control with this technique than a lot of the other ones. So it's a very, very fun one. And Novala says, thanks, Novala. She likes the painting behind me, the red and the gold and black one. That's a Dutch pour. It's like a kind of a big, crazy one where I kind of blew a lot around on that one. Probably a little too much. Kind of got carried away with it, I think. But so that was a kind of a big one. So, but thank you, Novala. So, and then Mama Dulas is saying she made sure her paints were thin enough to move with the dryer, but it looked like they floated on top of the base coat. And is the base coat supposed to be thinner than the colors? No, that we want the same consistency with the base coat and our colors. So now if we want them to kind of blend in more with the base coat, the blowover can really help with that. So if you're wanting, like, if in this case black, if you're wanting the colors to blend in with the black more, then the blowover is a great way to go. So I hope that helps, though, Mama Dulas. And thanks, Donna. Donna says she's seen a lot of Dutch pours that look like flowers, and like Iris says she likes what I did with this one. Thank you so much, Donna. I appreciate that. And I've seen those. There are a lot of like different ways of doing the Dutch pour, actually, and I've seen a lot of them that, there's so many that I like, and there's a lot of different kind of styles, really, of the Dutch pour that you can try out. I've kind of, and it's going to be a personal type of thing, because you'll inherently kind of be blowing out and doing things that like look cool to you, and so there's a lot to experiment with. I tend to like to blow my colors a little further on the canvas. A lot of people like to blow them out and kind of end, and so they have kind of like petal looks, like they look like petals, kind of like what Donna was mentioning. I tend to like to blow the paint further on the canvas, so it's going over the edges more. It's just, it's like a compositional thing, or I just like to blow the paint more. I don't know. But you'll discover that you'll have kind of your own unique way of doing the Dutch pour, I think. And this can be a very kind of personal style. So you can really, depending on your colors, the way you like to blow the paint out, combination of the different blowing techniques, you can really make this more of a unique personal style to use. So it's a very cool technique that really has endless possibilities. So it's a very fun one. It's a complex technique in many different ways. Okay. And okay, so let's see. Karen asks, does it depend on the way you hold the dryer? It does and it doesn't. I hold the dryer normally by the handle, kind of like how you would hold it. I find that for me, I have more control of the dryer and the angle. So I can easily go from like a straight down to forward or backward very quickly and easily. A lot of people like to hold the dryer upside down. I think it's mostly to get the cord out of the way, which is helpful. But for me, it doesn't feel quite as normal. I've done it many times, And you can still manipulate the canvas very well, but for me, I like to go forward and backwards a lot. But going forward and then going backward, it's very difficult. It's kind of a awkward position. But if I'm holding the dryer just by the handle, going forward and backward is very easy. So it's kind of a personal preference, depending on what you like. And you'll figure that out as you just practice and try it out. Some people only blow in one direction. So they'll only blow away from them. Then they'll turn the canvas and then blow away from them again. I tend to blow in both directions, away from me and towards me and sideways. So it really depends on the way you want to kind of manipulate the hairdryer. And you'll learn which works best for you with just some practice. There's no right and wrong way. And but I hope that helps, Karen. All right. And Janice likes the blown over the edge look too. Thanks, Janice. Thank you. All right. So I've not seen any other questions at the moment. So let me do a couple things. Let me quickly go over to my Amazon page, and I'm going to put that in the chat. So here's the link to my Amazon page. If you want to check out this dryer, I have this one and the other one I use, the larger one. You can see exactly which model I use. That's the exact one I bought, if you want to check that out. And let's see. And then next, I'm going to put the link to the Pouring Studio sign-up page in the chat. So you could go check that out if you are interested in the Pouring Studio. If you're like, if this looked really cool to you, if you'd like to learn kind of the way I like to do Dutch pours and everything else that I've talked about with the membership, then you could go read a little bit more about the Pouring Studio, see if it's right for you. And we'd love to have you join the membership. I think you'll really like it. It's a monthly fee, or you could join yearly. And currently the monthly fee is $24 a month. And or if you join yearly, it's $240. So you get 2 months for free. So we're going to be open. The membership is currently open right now, and it's going to be closing on Tuesday, November 2nd, I believe. This coming Tuesday, the dates are on there, at midnight Eastern time. And then we're going to Wednesday jump right into learning all about the Dutch pour. So we'll have our monthly, one of our weekly member meetings on Wednesday. So if you'd like to join us, that would be fantastic. We'd love to welcome you into the Pouring Studio membership. And if you have any questions about the membership, please feel free to throw them in the comments. And I'll be happy to answer them. And thank you so much, Carla. She's enjoying the membership a lot. Thank you so much, Carla. She's awesome. She's always sharing her paintings and asking great questions, which helps a lot more people. You know, if you share in the Facebook group or the community, it really helps a lot of people. So thank you so much, Carla. Karen also is enjoying it. Thank you, Karen. I love seeing your paintings over from all the way from Australia, which is fantastic. And and then I have to throw this up here. Donna, thank you so much, Donna. It really means a lot to me. I really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And JC, JC has I think has a little bit of an issue with the Dutch pour, but she's going to learn to love it. JC says she'll need a daily lesson on the Dutch pour. I don't know about daily, but we will definitely be doing a lot of Dutch pour stuff. So that's awesome, JC. And JC is a very good painter, by the way, too. She doesn't think so, I don't think, but she's great. I love her paintings. So, oh my gosh. And So, okay, well, I don't see any other questions at the time. Sony's looking forward to trying the Dutch pour, which is awesome. It's very fun, this technique. And, it does take a little bit of getting used to just kind of blowing the paints, but we're going to be practicing that. And once you kind of get the hang of it, sky's the limit for what you can do with the Dutch pour. So, and Barbara was saying, I went in and it was closed. Now I know, thanks. Oh, maybe before, when we closed it before. Yeah, it's open right now. But yes, I will be closing it again in just a few days. And then I just focus on the membership and the members, and we just start, creating paintings and like improving our skills. All right. And Jerry is saying, Jerry has a problem with the Dutch pour too. I love the membership. Thank you. Thanks so much, Jerry. And I have yet to be able to post anything successfully yet. Well, we'll figure that out. Like, hopefully it's, you've done some good paintings. So, and you're just started. Jerry has just done her, I think, 4th or 5th painting, and they're pretty darn good if I have to, if you ask me. And that's pretty impressive. So one thing we're going to do in the membership, I keep forgetting to do this, but I'm going to, probably in the community, I'll create a little topic. So you could share your first paint pour or your first pouring or pour painting. My gosh. And I'm going to share my first couple, which are terrible. So, because I think if you put, and I know you're probably, oh my gosh, I don't want to share my first painting. Hopefully you've kept it, because it's such a great reminder of how far you've come. If you look back at your very first painting and you hate it, as let's be honest, most people do, because it's not as easy as it looks. And now you see how far you've come and what you're creating now, you'll be amazed at the progress you've made. So it's always amazing to go back and look at your first couple tries. And I think it would be very inspiring for people to share their first painting and then also share like the latest painting that they've done. So I think that'd be a fun thing to do. So anyway, right. Karen says she burned all her first tries. Oh my gosh. Karen, you cracked me up. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions. I see a lot of awesome comments. Thank you everyone for the wonderful comments in the chat. That's always great to see. But it is, we've been here for a while. So I think if there's no other questions, I will say goodnight. And if you have any questions about the membership, let me see if I can throw this up there. You could feel free to email me. And if you just send me an email at brad@acrylicpouringacademy.com, I'll get back to you right away as soon as I can. Also, if you go to Acrylic Pouring Academy, there is a small blue icon on the bottom, like right of your screen. Oh, that's a chat button. So you can send me a message right from Acrylic Pouring Academy. So if you want to message me, feel free to do that with any questions you might have, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I'll just leave my email up there. And but thank you so much for joining me, everyone. This was really fun. I hope you enjoyed watching some crazy Halloween colors, the last Halloween colors of the year. And then next year we'll do some more. But have a great weekend. Have a happy Halloween if you love Halloween like I do. And we will see you next week. Well, we're going to jump into the Dutch pour and with both feet and start blowing around some paint. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.